So today, we're going to decode India's economic game plan. We're going to unpack the huge shift in the country's financial priorities between 2025 and 2026, a move from immediate relief to some really long-term ambition. Let's dive right in.
Okay, to really get this, let's start with a super simple idea. Just imagine for a second, what if a whole country had a pocket money plan? You know, a detailed strategy that lays out exactly how much it's going to earn and where every single rupee is going to be spent. Well, that right there, that's basically what a national budget is.
So, a budget is essentially the government's financial blueprint for the entire year. It's kind of like how you might plan out your household budget for groceries, rent, and all that. A national budget does the same thing, just on a massive scale. It maps out all the expected income, mostly from taxes, and then decides how to spend it on everything from brand new highways to hospitals and schools. It's really the nation's roadmap for how it plans to grow.
All right, first up, let's look at the 2025 budget. You can think of this year as all about laying a solid foundation. The main focus wasn't really on splashy, grand new projects. Instead, it was all about providing direct relief and support to some key groups of people.
And the big headline number from 2025, it was a pretty significant one. The income tax exemption limit was bumped up to 12 lakh rupees, or 1.2 million rupees. Now, this was a huge relief measure, and it was designed to do one simple thing: put more money directly back into the pockets of the middle class.
But, the support didn't stop there. The 2025 budget really zeroed in on several key areas. For example, it helped out 17 million farmers who were struggling. It doubled the credit guarantee for small and medium businesses, which are so vital to the economy. And it started rolling out support systems for the fast-growing gig economy. See, each of these moves was really about stabilizing a crucial part of the workforce.
And that brings us to the 2026 budget. Now, if 2025 was all about building that foundation, well, 2026 was about taking a giant leap forward. The focus did a complete 180, shifting dramatically towards long-term reforms and, really, future-proofing the economy through massive infrastructure projects. And you can see this new priority in one absolutely massive number: a whopping 12.2 lakh crore rupees. That's about 12.2 trillion rupees, all set aside for what's called capital expenditure, or CAPEX. In simple terms, this is money spent on creating real physical things like highways and ports. It's a direct investment in the country's long-term growth engine.
The ambition of the 2026 budget just jumps out when you look at the details. The plan was to modernize the economy by simplifying the whole tax system and to seriously boost connectivity with 7 new high-speed rail corridors. But it was also looking to the future, with a big push for green energy and new investments in education to get more girls into science and tech fields.
So, when you put it all together, what's the story here? Well, what we see is a very clear, very deliberate shift in priorities from one year to the next. Let's break that down side by side.
The economic roadmap shows this really clear pivot, right? In 2025, the main focus was all about immediate relief and support, with things like those tax exemptions and aid for farmers. But then by 2026, that focus shifts sharply to long-term infrastructure and growth, really driven by that CapEx boom and big investments in things like green energy.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds like high-level government policy, right? But what does it actually mean for you? How do all these numbers and plans go from a government document into your everyday life?
Well, at the end of the day, the ultimate goal behind both these budgets is actually the same: to create jobs and build what's called the Viksit Bharat, which is a vision for a developed India by 2047. So every single policy, whether it's about relief or infrastructure, is really a tool to try and achieve that much bigger vision. Let's make it real. That huge infrastructure spending, that 12.2 lakh crore capex, what does that actually look like on the ground? Well, it means wider highways and new expressways. And for you, that could mean a shorter commute to work or just being able to travel between cities way faster.
And what about those tax reforms? A simpler income tax act isn't just about less annoying paperwork. For millions of people, a clearer, more efficient tax system can mean real savings and more money in your pocket. It's policy that you can actually feel.
So as we wrap this all up, it leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. We've seen two very different strategies, one focused on immediate relief and the other on long-term investment. So which approach do you think holds more promise for India's future? Is it the short-term benefit of tax cuts or the long-term vision of a massive infrastructure boom?